Hello, everyone. This is Daniela Rojas, your IT extraordinaire at Network in Action. And today I'm here with Ken Meyers of Apex Leadership Company. Ken is a very interesting fella. He does amazing work all around Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I would just say we're mainly around the Philadelphia area in Pennsylvania. We're in Philadelphia and the surrounding counties outside of Philadelphia. Our company is in 35 states across the U.S. We've served over 6,000 schools. We've served more than 3.2 million kids, and we've raised over $85 million net to those schools over the last 10 years. So we're having quite an impact out there.
Right on, right on. That's really good stuff. I visited your website, and it's very inspiring to see what it is that you all do. It looks like you're doing some great work. So if you could tell me how long have you been in the industry? How long have you been doing this with Apex?
Sure. It's funny you say that about the website. I bought Apex as a franchise about 2 years ago. What I like about Apex is the franchise business. So we're all local owners. We're all small businesses. We're local families. We live and work in the communities that we serve. And that was really important to me because I think when you're trying to impact your communities, it's important that you're local to them. And, when I was looking at different businesses and I knew I wanted to do something, I had three criteria when I was looking at a business. I wanted it to be something that I cared about and that I was passionate about. I wanted it to be something that would actually help other people. And I wanted it to be something that was community focused. So when I was looking at a few different businesses, I worked with a gentleman who introduced me to Apex. And when he first told me about it, I think all I heard was fundraising. It's a fundraising company. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know, that doesn't really get me too excited. And I said, let's pass on that one. What else you have? And he said, listen, Ken, do me a favor. He said, just take a look at their website. Because he said, I really think this checks off all your boxes. And I said, all right, fine. I begrudgingly left it on the list. And I went to the website like you did. And honestly, I fell in love. And I said, wow, it's just amazing what these people are doing. And what I realized, it's not really about the fundraising. That's, we are a fundraising company, but we're really a leadership company that happens to do fundraising. And that's what drew me to it. That's what inspires me every day, and why I'm doing what I'm doing. So, Dan, for me, the opportunity to impact kids at a young age and make a difference in their life really spoke to me. I grew up in Philadelphia. I grew up in Northeast Philadelphia. We moved to Ben Salem when I was in 7th grade. And when we moved, I moved into a new school. And honestly, I had a really rough time of it. I was bullied for about a year and a half by a couple of brothers who didn't like me for whatever reasons they had. And, and for me, if I had something like this, if I had, somebody speaking to me about what we speak to kids about and encouraging kids and mentoring kids, maybe it would a little bit different now. And that's what I'm trying to do. If we can impact one or two kids at every school that we serve, to me, we'll be doing our job. But we've served several schools in the Philadelphia area so far, and I've been amazed at the impact that we've had.
I could tell you guys definitely take it to another level, because I remember when I was a kid, we would do these fun runs for the fundraisers, and it would be kind of like a lap-oriented approach to, you'll do 5 laps and you earn this much for the school or what have you. And, nothing really ever inspired me to take part in those things. And I think if with the right approach, you all are probably able to reach a much broader audience in the school itself.
Actually, it's awesome. I'm so glad that you said that, because you're the first person I've met that's done a fun run that's been older, and so it's interesting to hear your experience, because one of the really great things about our program is that all the kids in the school are included in our program, and the event day, the fun run day, that's sort of the culmination of the 2 weeks. But we're in the school for 2 weeks. I send a team of athletes into the school for 2 weeks, and they're just young adults who have a real passion for impacting kids and mentoring kids and teaching kids and being a role model for kids. And they're there for the kids for 2 weeks, and they are they're in class with the kids almost every day. They're with the kids at recess and lunchtime and PE, and so they're really having a real impact on the kids. we finished a school a few months ago in Cheltenham called Wyncote Elementary, and I had to go back to the school a couple days after the program ended to just pick up a few things that were still at the school. And I had my Apex sweatshirt on, so our colors are orange and blue, so we're pretty easy to spot. And so I walked in and I was getting some things, and one of the girls came up to me. I think she was a fourth or fifth grader, and she walked up to me. And my two athletes that served the school were Billy Wonka and Mojo. I'll get into why their names are that in a second. But she came up to me and she said, "Could you please tell Billy Wonka and Mojo I missed them?" And to me, that was like, that's
awesome.
Like, that's why I do what I do, right? And when you can have that kind of an impact on a child, and they can care about you, and they're going to miss you when you're gone, and you impacted them. That's really what this is all about.
Big
So now the Billy Wonka and Mojo thing, the reason all our athletes kind of come up with fun names for the kids, and there's a reason for that. One, the kids like the fun names, but the other reason is with social media, if they actually know their real names, they'll track them down and hound them on social media and things like that. So we try to keep a little anonymity with our athletes, so they have a little privacy outside of the schools that they serve.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's a fun story that I love to share, because it really touched me. Another awesome for me is a business owner, and kind of confirming why I'm doing what I'm doing is we served a school in Central Bucks School District, and they raised so much money they almost covered their budget for 2 years. And they netted over $44,000 with our program.
That's amazing.
And it is amazing. And their PTO was kind of like, well, maybe we shouldn't bring them back next year. We've kind of covered our budget for next year already. And the principal was like, no. He said, you're bringing them back. He said the leadership lessons that they taught and what they brought to the school and the culture, he said those leaderships really hit home with the kids that we needed them to hit home with. And to me, boy, I was like on cloud nine after that, because that's
absolutely.
Raising the $44,000 is awesome.
Yeah.
But knowing that we touched kids, that's what makes it worthwhile.
Exactly. And, I mean, I'm sure most people could think of a great many schools that could totally use a shift in their culture, and, just bringing some sort of inspiration to the kids to motivate, mobilize, and to give purpose to.
Yeah. And then, what's neat about our program too is, you mentioned earlier, I was never really invested in the run, because there wasn't really anything else to it. It was most of the runs that I'm aware of, the kids send out letters or whatever they might do to try to ask people to pledge money, and then they just do a run in 2 or 3 weeks when it's all said and done. Yeah. With our program, the kids are getting leadership lessons each day throughout the program. The classrooms, when they reach certain goals, the whole classroom gets to participate. It might be an extra recess period. It might be a dodgeball game with the Apex team. It might be a pizza party. So they get to earn what we call thank you rewards as a classroom. Now, we also give thank you rewards to individual students who get pledges. But some kids can't get pledges. They just won't get pledges. But we want them to feel included. We want them to be a part of this. So that's why they get the lessons. We give I'm not wearing one right now, but we give daily bracelets with the lesson of the day on it for each day. Each student gets one, whether they're raising money or not. Okay. They can go home and their mom and dad can say, "What's that on your wrist?" "Oh, we learned about being trustworthy today. We learned about integrity today." So we want the kids to go home and talk to mom and dad about what they learned and what that lesson was for that day. So it's just such an amazingly designed program. And again, that's what drew me to it. And I, the challenge has been to get schools to give us a try in this area. Schools are used to doing what they've done. I had one PTO president, when I told her we'd probably raise them net to them about $13,000 or $14,000, she said, "No way." She said, "We've been doing fundraisers here forever. We've never made more than $7,500, and normally we make about $4,000 or $5,000." I thought to myself, well, okay, that might be true, and you might be right. But what if you're wrong, and we actually make you that kind of money? Plus, your kids are getting a program that helps them with their social and emotional learning and their confidence and their, self-esteem. Isn't that worth, the risk? And what if I do half of what I say? You're still at like $6,500 to $7,000, which is still better than what you're doing on your own. So sometimes it's just hard to get people to say, hey, let me try something new. But the schools that we've worked with, every school has either brought us back or will bring us back. There's one school that did not bring us back the next year. And the reason they didn't bring it back the next year is they raised so much money, they covered their budget for 2 years. And that's different from the one I was telling you. So we've had 2 schools that have almost covered their budget for 2 years. Cheltenham, or Wyncote Elementary in Cheltenham, they normally would raise about $3,000 to $5,000 with their major fundraisers. They netted over $17,000 with our fundraiser.
Wow, man. Obviously you guys are doing a lot of good. So I imagine there's probably not a lot of competition going on, in your industry. What's your
Yeah,
competition?
that's a great question. And we do have, probably our biggest competitor that's a similar type program is a company called Boosterthon. They're a corporate company out of Georgia, and they send teams out to serve their school. So they're not local to the community, and their program is really quite different than ours in a lot of ways. And we've had a lot of schools that have switched from Boosterthon to Apex, and they've netted more money with our school, and they've just been so much happier with the program overall. So that's probably the closest. There are a lot of new fundraising type companies that are coming out of the woodwork now, if you will, that are online type fundraising. Because one of the cool things about our program is each student gets their own unique web page, so they can just share their web page out. So we don't sell products. The kids aren't selling cookie dough or wrapping paper or popcorn or any of that kind of stuff. It's just all they do is have to share a web page, their own web page. They can put pictures of themselves on there. They can put videos of themselves on there, and they just share it out with family and friends. They share it through email, text, or social media like Facebook or Twitter, and it's just a link to their web page that says, "Hey, could you please help support my school? I'm going to be doing an event in 2 weeks. We have a fun run, which is where kids run laps, and it's a little different. We like the fun run that you did. You were probably running around the school 4 or 5 times. With us, we set up tracks. We have music. We have the athletes are there. The kids are having a blast. We have a lot of fun with them. So it's a real different. So they'll run between 26 and 36 laps. Each lap's about a 1/16 of a mile long. So if they run 36 laps, they run 2.2 miles. Okay, and so we do it by grade. So each grade runs on their own. They're not running with everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of lost my train where I was going with that.
Well, you're talking about points of parity, between.
Oh yeah, okay. So there some of the other like online investment companies out there. They, you can have that online aspect, but they're not giving you the leadership lessons. They're not giving you the on-campus experience. They're not bringing a culture and an enthusiasm to your school. It's just a way to, instead of having to write letters or hand things out, you just send out an email and ask for money for the school. And then at the end of it, they'll usually do some sort of an event or run or something like that. But they're not getting the same experience. And of those competitors that other schools that have used them and used us, at the end of the day, they net more with our program because they raise so much more because the kids are engaged with it. Any fundraiser can be great if you have people that are engaged, but any fundraiser can flop if no one cares and they're not interested.
Of course.
So, that's what.
And it sounds like you guys, that's where you've really honed in on something special.
It is. And that's where you mentioned earlier, I was never really into the fundraiser, right? The kids in our program, they take ownership of it because we talk to them about being leaders for their school. That's our whole concept and our program and our message to these kids is about being leaders. Last year, our message was, or 2 years it was strong. Last year it was game on. This year it's mighty. Mighty this year stands for mindfulness. So we talk to kids about being mindful of themselves and others. I stands for integrity. We talk to kids about having integrity and that their word means something. G stands for grit. We talk to kids about having grit. When things don't go your way, keep going. Don't give up. Don't quit. T talks about, am I spelling this out? Yeah, M-I-G-H. H stands for hero. Be a hero to somebody else. Be a friend. And a hero doesn't mean that you have to be a superhero with superpowers. A hero could just be being a friend to somebody. A hero could be, helping somebody clean up, a mess. A hero could be letting somebody in line from you, holding a door for somebody. So there's lots of ways to be a hero without being a superhero, if you will, having a cape, having special powers. T stands for think ahead. Think ahead, we talk to the kids about having a plan, knowing what your plan is. Set a plan, have a plan, and execute to that plan. And think about what you're doing before you do it. And then Y is your turn. And the your turn talks to the kids about, okay, we've given you 5 tremendous leadership lessons. Now, how are you going to take that and implement these into your life every day? So that's what our message is to the kids this year. And I think it's an important message, especially with, what's going on this year. Talk about having grit. Has there ever been more of a year where you need to have grit and
right.
going than 2020?
It's crazy out there. It really is, no doubt.
So
actually, that's a good segue because I wanted to ask, with COVID, Obviously, you know, it's affected the entire world,
Mhm.
destabilized a great many businesses. How's it affected you all?
Well, certainly it affected us last year in a big way because schools just closed down and nobody was really ready to handle that. So, one of the things that we did, one of the great things about Apex as a company is we're very flexible and adaptable. We do that every time we serve a school. We serve schools that, they might have a day off in the 2 weeks that we're there. So we manage our schedule to work around their day off. They may have an early day they're let out earlier, things like that. So they might have a snow day. So we've always been a company that's been flexible and adaptable. So when COVID hit, it really wasn't a surprise that we adapted to that. And what we've done is designed a virtual program so that we can still teach the kids virtually the lessons. They can still get engaged virtually, and they can still fundraise. And one of the great things about our fundraising platform, being that it is an online platform for fundraising, we were sort of socially distancing in fundraising before it was in vogue, right?
Hmm.
You're not handling products, you're not selling, you're not walking door to door, you're sharing an email. And there's no touching going on in there. You're certainly 6 feet away from somebody when you're doing
Right.
that. So our fundraising platform was built, I guess, for a COVID type of situation. So that part works really well. And then from an event perspective, we can do that virtually. We can literally we have kids could run around their yard if they want. Kids could we have a remix, which is sort of a glow in the dark dance party kind of event that we do. Kids can do dance parties at home in their house if they want, and we'll do the dance moves with them. We'll teach them. We can do it over a Zoom. So there's really a lot of different ways we can manage this and still execute it the way it was meant to be designed, and still be really effective.
Right
Now,
on.
obviously, there's some challenges, with schools going virtual and things like that. So we're working through those challenges with some of the schools. But we the great thing about it is the program in and of itself gives the kids some sense of stability. It's teaching them things that are really important for them to learn right now. It's helping support their social and emotional learning. So even if we're not there face to face with the kids, doing it virtually is still can be really effective. And we did some schools last year, at the end of last year, virtually, and the schools just absolutely loved it. They thought it was really important for the kids to have exposure to the lessons. So I really think, at some point in time, we want to get back to the schools, in the schools, and seeing our kids and high-fiving
Of
them and all
course.
kinds of things. But I think this is a really viable option for school, and it's a way also to help them raise some much-needed funds in a virtual way that they probably can't do with other types of fundraising programs.
Definitely going to let people know about you all. It
Thank
looks like you're doing great work. Um, and thank you for the assist, being my first interviewee.
you.
Uh,
You did an
you know,
awesome job, Dan. Let me tell you that.
let me tell you, you're awesome. And before I let you go, is let the people know how it is they could get in touch with you.
Okay. So the best way to get in touch with me is either give me a call. My cell phone number is 267-630-3457. And I'm working mainly within probably about an hour radius of the Philadelphia area. So just to give you an idea, Bucks County, Montgomery County, Chester County, Delaware County, Philadelphia County. Those are all areas that I'm working. We do have franchisees and other all around the country. So if you're watching this from somewhere else, you want to reach out to me, I'll get you in touch with the right franchisee in your area. Or you can just email me. My email is Ken M, like for Myers, Ken M at apexleadershipco.com.
All right,
I
right
look
on,
forward to
man.
hearing from you. Thanks, Dan. I appreciate your time today.
Thank you, Ken. It's been great, and keep up the good work, man. It's
Thanks.
awesome. All right,
Awesome.
hang in
Appreciate it.
there.
Thank you. All right. Have a great day.